Welcome to our podcast on decentralized finance and its potential to bank the unbanked. Today, we're diving into how DeFi, or decentralized finance, can help low-income communities gain access to financial services that traditional banks often deny them.
I'm excited about this topic. It's really fascinating how DeFi can challenge the conventional systems we know, right?
Yep, absolutely. You see, traditional finance really came under scrutiny after the great financial crisis of 2008-09. That crisis shook the belief in centralized, stable banking systems and opened up the path for alternatives like Bitcoin, which was created as a response to that very instability.
That makes sense. The idea of decentralizing financial power is super compelling when you consider how fragile those centralized systems can be.
Exactly, it's like a way for the everyday person to reclaim control over their money. Instead of having your funds held hostage by banks that charge steep fees and have strict requirements, DeFi offers you secure digital wallets without the need for middlemen.
Right? So, let me get this straight. DeFi uses blockchain technology to create a public ledger where transactions are verified by everyone rather than one central authority.
Yes, precisely. With blockchain, every transaction is recorded in a distributed ledger that's nearly impossible to hack or change. That ensures transparency and security. And because it's based on consensus, no one, not even big banks, can
Yeah, that's
control it.
pretty revolutionary. And this system, by cutting out intermediaries, also helps lower the cost of transactions, right?
Absolutely. It eliminates those steep fees that have always been a burden for low income individuals. By removing intermediaries like banks or brokers, transactions become quicker and cheaper. It's democratizing finance, making loans, savings, and even insurance accessible on a
hmm
blockchain network.
It's exciting to think that something like smart contracts can automate these agreements too, so they run exactly as programmed when conditions are met. How does that work in this context?
Right. Smart contracts are like digital self executing agreements where the contract's rules are written directly into code. When a borrower, say, doesn't qualify for a traditional bank loan, they might instead turn to a smart contract where multiple investors provide funds on fair terms. It's like having a programmed trustless escrow service that runs itself.
Yes, definitely. I imagine that this shift from central authority to a permissionless peer to peer network could really break down the historical barriers that have kept so many people out of the financial system.
Exactly. It's permissionless. Anyone with internet can jump in, get a crypto wallet, and start using these services without needing any approval. That's a game changer for over 2 billion unbanked people globally, especially in less developed economies where traditional banks either don't exist or charge prohibitive
Right, right.
fees.
And not only that, but with transactions happening in seconds, low income individuals can quickly move funds for microloans, micro investments, or even everyday payments. It's really modernizing financial access.
Yes, it's like having your own mini bank in your pocket. And another cool thing is dApps, decentralized applications, which run on top of these smart contracts. They're essentially financial apps without a centralized server, giving people more control and security.
hmm However, I've been thinking, aren't there concerns about the risk factors in DeFi? I mean, with no central authority, what stops scams or fraudsters from taking advantage of folks?
That's a great point. There are risks, scams, technical glitches, and the volatility of crypto assets are all valid concerns. But the infrastructure, like secure distributed ledgers and constant improvements in smart contract audits, works to mitigate these issues. Still, users really need to do their own due diligence.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, it's a balance. On one hand, DeFi offers huge democratizing benefits. On the other, it does require a bit more vigilance from its users. Would you say that's fair?
Absolutely. It's like stepping into uncharted territory, full of promise, but also with certain risks. And regulators are starting to take notice too, which might, in time, add even more layers of protection.
Agreed. And what about stablecoins? They seem to play a big role in reducing the volatility typically associated with cryptocurrencies. How do they fit into this picture?
Great question. Stablecoins are essentially cryptocurrencies designed to maintain a relatively stable value by pegging them to reference assets like the US dollar. They provide a level of stability, making them ideal for daily transactions and savings for the unbanked. So when someone uses DeFi for everyday banking, they can rely on stablecoins to avoid the wild price swings of assets like Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's a smart workaround. It's like using your favorite coffee mug knowing it won't suddenly turn into a teacup. Reliable and steady.
Exactly. It's like keeping cash in a safe digital form. And then there's digital asset trading via decentralized exchanges or DEX where people can trade without intermediaries. These platforms running mainly on Ethereum allow direct peer-to-peer transactions, saving both time and money.
Absolutely. And microloans also become a reality here, right? I read something about how decentralized lending pools let unbanked entrepreneurs secure funding. That's pretty rad.
Yes, definitely. Microloans are a game changer. Imagine a small business owner in a developing country tapping into a global lending pool. No need for traditional credit scores or collateral in the usual sense, because risks are distributed among multiple investors. It really breaks down barriers that were once insurmountable.
Right, I see that. It's cool to see how even big projects like real estate or tech funding can now be done with tokens and smart contracts. That's way more accessible than the old school stock market, isn't it?
For sure, even companies on major exchanges are starting to issue tokenized shares, making investment opportunities available to a wider, more diverse group of investors. It opens up the playfield, letting everyday people partake in big ventures that were once just for the elite.
Yeah, it's democratizing investment. And I love that idea. It makes financial freedom more tangible. But, um, do you think that big established financial institutions will fully embrace DeFi, or is it more of a parallel system?
Well, interestingly, many large institutions are already dipping their toes in crypto waters. Take JP Morgan, for example. They now offer crypto funds under specific conditions. So, while there is some friction, there's also this fascinating convergence where traditional finance and DeFi are colliding. It's like two worlds slowly merging.
Exactly. That's a compelling evolution. But I'm curious, do you think that completely decentralizing finance will solve all the issues of inequality? Or are there still some limitations we need to think about?
I think it's not a silver bullet, but it certainly shifts the power dynamic. DeFi does break down many of the exclusionary practices of traditional finance by lowering barriers to entry and making funding accessible. But as we discussed, users need to be educated about risk management and security. It's a work in progress, and ongoing improvements in scalability and regulation are needed to fully capture
That's a
its
balanced
promise.
view. Education and awareness are key then. And it sounds like part of the mission is ensuring that even the lowest income communities are not left behind.
Exactly, it's about inclusion. DeFi platforms like Leaf Wallet in Kenya show us that even without a traditional banking history or high tech gear, people can still access secure financial services using just a mobile phone. It really illustrates how technology can uplift communities.
Yes, that's impressive. And it's also interesting to note how these solutions can be tailored to fit local needs, providing the right mix of technological advancement and simplicity.
Right, it's adaptive by design. From micro investments to trading digital assets on decentralized exchanges, each of these tools provides a distinct benefit that caters to diverse financial needs. It's like building a multi tool in your pocket for finance.
Exactly. At this point, it seems clear that DeFi has the potential to reshape not just banking for the unbanked, but the entire idea of financial systems. The opportunities are enormous, but as you pointed out, risks and necessary education remain critical aspects.
Absolutely. It's a revolution in progress, full of promise and challenges alike. As more people and institutions become educated about these technologies, we can expect tighter security measures and broader adoption, which ultimately could help reverse long-standing
Right
financial
on.
inequities.
And looking forward, do you see even more groundbreaking changes in the near future with technologies like AI and IoT merging with DeFi?
Oh, definitely. Combining artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things with blockchain and smart contracts could lead to even more innovative regulatory solutions and investment opportunities. Imagine more robust mechanisms to monitor fraud and better optimize market conditions in real time. It's it's like a future forecast with endless possibilities, making financial services even smarter and more inclusive.
Yeah, that future sounds very promising. This has been a fantastic deep dive into how decentralized finance is working to bank the unbanked and democratize financial opportunity globally. I think it's clear that while challenges exist, the potential for social and economic transformation is enormous.
Absolutely. DeFi isn't perfect, but its promise of more accessible, equitable financial systems is inspiring. Here's to watching this space evolve and hopefully uplift millions along the way.
Indeed. Thanks for the insightful discussion. Definitely gives us a lot to think about.